Hello everyone, today I'm back in World of Guns, Gun Disassembly, and today we have yet another very classic firearm to take a look at. This time we have the Soviet Sks Rifle. So this is rifle over here, and you've probably seen it before. It is very common nowadays, especially on the surplus market. So let me tell you a little bit about this rifle. So as I said, it was developed by the Soviets after World War II, and that was quite early after World War II. So I think it was actually in 45 that it was adopted, I guess, or developed, and basically it was designed as a modern military rifle for that time. It wasn't like incredibly cutting edge at like all of the aspects, but it was quite advanced at the same time on some other aspects. So basically, it's a rifle that is chambered in the famous 7.62x39 cartridge. That is, by the way, the same cartridge that the AK-47 uses. And basically, it was the cartridge is obviously an intermediate cartridge, and that is one of the aspects that in which this rifle is quite good at. Because it has an intermediate cartridge, it is much easier to fire. It is semi-automatic, obviously. It has a 10-round magazine, which is not too terrible. So it was pretty good for the time. We're talking late and end of World War II, obviously. So basically, we have a gas-operated action. The magazine is actually a fixed 10-round magazine. You can see it on the bottom. That's pretty much like a cover. What else do we have? It has an integrated bayonet. This one has, and that's pretty much it. It's quite a simple rifle. It is fed by 10-round stripper clips, which are quite finicky, actually, I think, and not the greatest part of the design. Basically, this rifle would be in service in main Soviet Army service for just a couple years, until obviously the AK-47 was adopted. At that point, they sort of moved it to rear troops to be carried by them. So basically, at that point, it wasn't very state of the art anymore, and they just moved it to rear echelon troops who didn't need a highly advanced rifle such as the AK-47, which was very advanced for the time. So basically, the basic disadvantages of this rifle would be, as compared to the AK, the fixed magazine, obviously, and only 10 rounds and fed with stripper clips. That's very bad. Obviously, the action is not as enclosed as the AK. The AK has quite... I mean, it's not a terribly well enclosed thing, but this one is pretty much all open on the top. Now, obviously, if you have the both closed, it's not really an issue. If you have it open, or you, I don't know, somehow get some debris in there, it could be quite bad. Other than that, the rifle is not too terrible. The sights are pretty much like comparable to an AK, I would say. So not much of an improvement there with the AK. The most important thing definitely was the magazine, and the whole configuration. This is more like a traditional battle rifle configuration, even though it is it has an intermediate cartridge chambering. As you can see, it has like a one-piece stock with a semi-pistol grip, wooden, and that's very sort of traditional in a sense. Much different from the AK, which obviously has a more modern sort of look with the separate stock and the pistol grip. So anyway, let's take this thing apart and see how it works, and we'll say something else about it while we do it. So first of all, tells me to take off the top cover here on the back, and there's a spring there. Interesting. There's the bolt. There we go. And then the trigger group with the magazine, basically like floor plate / cover, comes off. We've got the fore end, which is also the piston. Interesting. It has a piston inside, and the cleaning rod comes out apparently as well. Okay, there's an accessories case in the butt, and that's one disassembled SKS, or field stripped I should say. So let's take a look at this bolt. We've got, as you can see, it's like a two-part construction of the operating mechanism, I guess. It's got like a bolt carrier and a separate bolt. The bolt carrier, interestingly, has an integrated stripper clip guide on the top. As you can see, that's like the claw shaped thing. That pretty much allows you to just put the stripper clip in there, in those grooves, and it's easier to, or it's actually possible to strip cartridges into the magazine that way, because the face of the bolt is the only thing that is near the magazine when the action is open. That's pretty much the only way they could do it. Another way would be obviously to extend this cover over here and have it on there. So the bolt, it's got a large extractor here on the side. It is actually like a tilting bolt, I guess. Other than that, nothing really special. It's sort of a square thing with a firing pin there. Let's see where it locks. It should have a locking surface in here, and I think it's this down here. So basically this sort of angled section down here in the receiver is where it locks. Now, because it has only one point of lock, it's not the best at accuracy or consistency, and I mean, it would be more reliable theoretically, I think, probably, but yeah, definitely not the best thing in the world. They much improved this with the AK, which has a rotating bolt. Definitely. Okay, so let's put this thing back together, shall we? How do we do this? This goes in here, trigger group and magazine cover. We've got a cleaning rod on the front. We've got the piston. As you can see, another thing I should point out, the piston is not actually attached to the actual bolt or the bolt carrier. It's just like a free floating thing in the handguard. Very different to the AK, where the piston is actually attached to the bolt carrier right on the top. So that's different. And the way it works is just the piston comes back through this hole right above the breech, right here, and obviously when it's firing, and it just pushes the whole bolt carrier with the bolt back. That's pretty much how it works. Okay, right, and then spring. We've got the cover. Alright, and then this thing goes in here. And that is one reassembled SKS. Let's go into operation mode and see if I'm actually correct on how the locking system works, because I haven't really handled one of these rifles or any of these rifles before, so I can't say I'm familiar with them. Okay, so let's go to X-ray. That way we'll be able to see what's going on. Okay, so the last one is pretty much the best. Okay, so we're gonna go slow motion, right? And we're gonna press the trigger, or pull the trigger. As you can see, hammer fired. It's got a coil spring for the hammer, unlike the AK, which has like a I don't know, like a torsion spring setup. Kind of weird thing, wire weird thing. There it locks. Yeah, so it is. I guess it's a tilting bolt. You would call this a tilting bolt, right? Maybe like a dipping bolt or something. I think tilting bolt is appropriate for this design, for this type of action. So as you can see, it locks down here on this surface on the receiver, and as I said, that's not the best for accuracy, and because it only fires an intermediate cartridge, it can get away with this without being unsafe, being dangerous, but it's still not the best for accuracy and potentially reliability. If something gets in that locking space, it can really stop the action from working. But I would wager it wasn't really a problem for the Soviets, and at that point they just wanted to have a simple rifle to equip their vast army at that point. Okay, so let's get out of the X-ray. Pretty much seen how it works. It's very simple. What else can we do? Let's just fire it, yeah. Get rid of the slow motion. Okay, so as you can see, the whole top pretty much opens as it fires. And there it is, locked open. That's pretty much what it is. This is the release for the magazine cover, and that just dumps the rounds if you want to do that. Much like any bolt action rifle with an integrated magazine, you can just dump the rounds out like a Mauser or something if you don't need them in the action. Can we get the bayonet out? Oh yes, we can. Look at that. Look at that giant stick on the end. Half of it is obstructed by the weird, like, what is this? A flash hider? I guess it's a weird sort of flash. Oh, I guess it must be for shooting rifle grenades. Yeah. Okay, that's why it's such a weird shape. What else can we do? Safety. There's apparently a safety. Oh yeah, it's this. Oh shit. Let me just bring the camera. The safety is next to the trigger over here. Goes up and down. Not the safest design, but I guess it would do. Better to have a safety than not to have it at all. What else? Let's reload it. How do I reload it? Press button. Okay. There you saw the stripper clip going in there. Okay. What else do we have to do? Grenade sight. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Sight. Okay, so that's probably the grenade sight. yeah, it just sort of comes up from the back side of the normal sight. And basically you would use that for firing rifle grenades. What else? Oh no, that's not the right sight. That's just like a precision sight, I think. Is it? Does it have a smaller notch? It's actually a bigger notch. Is it taller? Nope. What is the actual point of that sight? No idea. Okay. Whatever. Grenade sight is down here. Oh yeah, that's much more like it. Oh, I didn't even see it. It looks integrated into like the front sight. That's pretty cool. So you would actually use that for firing rifle grenades, and you would basically use it like, I think you would put the butt end of the rifle into the ground as much as possible, I think, sort of support it. You wouldn't fire it from the shoulder because it would pretty much destroy your shoulder, because those things are pretty heavy. And basically you would aim on like through the top of the rifle with this sight. I think that's how it works actually. Pretty cool stuff. Not really used today rifle grenades that much, but pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's fold that back. Apparently we can have a scope as well, and mounts on the side. Interesting. Oh, that's like similar to an AK. Well, I mean different design, but similar. It's a very small scope. It's like a, I don't know, not sure what the Soviets used for scopes. Seems kind of terrible, but I guess it's better than iron sights. Who knows? Okay, take that off. Okay, what else? Nitesite. Okay, what is the Nitesite? It's something up here. Okay, so it's basically a wider front post with a white dot on it. That's pretty much a way to pick it up quickly if you're shooting in low light conditions, I guess. Alright, that's pretty good. Let's get this thing apart more thoroughly. Let's do a nice disassembly on it, and we'll see all of the internals. Apparently it has 102 parts, which is quite a lot actually, but it should not be too complex, I don't think. I guess we'll see. The spring comes out as well, apparently. Comes off of the guide rod. Okay, we've got the bolt and the bolt carrier. Nice. What else do we have? There's a firing pin in here that we can take out. Oh yeah, didn't really say how this actually locks and unlocks. Oh, I did say how it locks and unlocks. I didn't say how it functions, I guess. So basically, the bolt carrier over here has this sort of track in the bottom, as you can see, and that track, the actual bolt on the back of the bolt, has also a very similar track on the back there, as you can see. So basically that rides in this track over here, and when the piston comes back, it shoves the bolt carrier back as well, and that moves, and of course the bolt stays in place because it's locked, and as it moves back, the bolt carrier does, it unlocks the bolt, and the bolt can go up and back, and that way it can cycle. So that's pretty interesting. Is there anything else in the bolt and the bolt carrier that we can take apart? I don't think so, no. Okay, fine. Let's do other stuff. So we've got, apparently the sling swivel comes off for whatever reason. We've got this cleaning case in the butt as well, with the butt plate coming off as well. And that's got its own spring and stuff. Apparently. Okay. There's another spring in here. Right. Now we can move on to the front. So we've got the piston here with the handguard and the tube, I guess. The piston comes out, and we've got the actual handguard, and that's it for that part. We have up front a cleaning rod. We also have this bayonet. Okay, and that's got a spring as well. Okay, comes off. There we go. What else? There's the sight, the grenade sight. Does that not come off? Apparently not. Okay, fine. What else? We can't do anything with the rear sight. That's all one assembly apparently. So let's take out the trigger control group, the fire control group, and the magazine. Okay, magazine cover comes out. It's two parts, and it's got a follower on the bottom that I can't get to. There it is. Okay. What else do we have? Let's take apart this trigger group. I always say trigger control group, even though it doesn't control the trigger. It controls the fire, and it has a trigger. So forgive me for my stupid stuff that I say. This has got some springs in there. Oh yeah, by the way, these rifles I think were all semi-automatic. I don't think they made a full auto version of these. Because obviously 10 round clip, and you don't want to be reloading that 10 round clip very often. Alright, so that is your trigger. Okay. Right, that's pretty much the whole thing. Oh, there's a pin back here for the safety. Okay. Right, and then we can move on to this stuff. The receiver and the barrel. There's nothing else in the stock. Okay, so this rifle grenade muzzle brake comes off. And then we've got the front side assembly. Okay, that's got a whole bunch of parts. We've got the grenade sight, and we've got the Nitesite, and we've got the normal sight. There's some springs in there. There's also another ring there for whatever reason. And then we've got the band, the front band, and the actual gas port, I guess. There's a gas block, yeah. Okay, that's it for that part. And then we've got a band over here. The rear sight comes off apparently. That's nice. And we've got a spring here. Pusher. Oh, that's actually for the gas piston. So looks like it isn't just one part piston. It's basically two parts. So we've got the front part, which just pushes on this part, and this part has a spring, and this part actually pushes on the bolt carrier, and then it returns. That's pretty cool. Okay, the barrel comes off as well apparently. That's nice. What else do we have? We have this thing. Guiding rod comes out. And then we've got hold open latch. Okay. What do we have back here? We have a trigger guard latch assembly. Okay. And we've got 5 more parts. There's apparently a spring underneath here. Trigger guard spring. What else? 4 more parts. Did we take apart the rear sight? I don't think we did actually. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so we've got the blade, the leaf, and we've got the actual notches here. We've got the spring on the bottom, and that is one completely disassembled SKS. Okay, let's quickly put it back together, and that'll probably be enough for this video. Okay, so let's put the rear side back together first of all, because it's actually quite complex, believe it or not. Okay, this goes in here as well. There is quite a bit of small parts actually. It's not as simple as an AK. I would say it's actually more complex than an AK, considering obviously because it is a fully milled construction, as opposed to the AK, which was designed to be a stamped construction, and that actually made it much simpler to make in larger numbers, and much cheaper, especially, even though it might have, I don't know, just as many parts as this thing, even though I think it does not have as many parts as this thing. This thing has a lot of little things. Okay. Right, so we've got the receiver almost together. What else do we need to do here? I think... Can we get this together with the barrel and stuff? I don't know. Nope. Does not look like we can. Oh. Of course, the rear side goes on first. That's pretty obvious. Okay, we've got this handguard that goes on. Or not. Who knows? Alright, so this goes on first. And then this thing. That's the actual gas port. And then we've got the actual front sight assembly with its muzzle brake for the rifle grenades. Okay, and then the whole thing should go into the stock. Maybe put the spring back in there. Does it go back in the stock? Who knows? Does not seem to go back into the stock. Have I missed something? Probably. Where's the... Apparently the handguard does not go in here before the other stuff. I don't know. Let's just put the rest of it together first of all. So we've got this trigger group over here. It's got a whole bunch of parts, but not that many actually. We've got the trigger bar. We have the hammer. It's got a spring as well. What else do we have? We've got the safety on the side there. Okay, the trigger goes in. We've got the magazine latch. And then what else do we have? Got this thing. The disconnector, obviously, and this thing, also the disconnector, and then the hammer. Okay, that's nice. And then we can, I guess, put together... Oh, of course, there's the bayonet missing on the barrel. That's why I didn't want to go together. Okay. Let's put the mag together as well. Okay, goes in there. Apparently this still doesn't go on the barrel for whatever reason. Fine. let's put the bolt back together. So we've got just an extractor on the side, and we've got a firing pin. So that can go back in, but we're gonna have to do some other stuff before we do that. Mainly the rear swivel and the butt assembly with the weird canister in there. That goes in here. There we go. Okay. Right. Oh, it was probably this that was preventing the thing from coming out. Okay, or coming into the stock there. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we can put the fore end on with the bayonet also on the front, and the cleaning rod goes in here as well. We have the trigger group goes from the bottom. Close the magazine, and then we've got the bolt and the bolt carrier. Also got the spring, the guide rod, and we've got the top cover. And that is one completely reassembled Sks rifle. Okay, so I think that's probably enough for this Sks. I learned some stuff about it today that I didn't know, and I hope that you did as well. It's quite a cool rifle. It's got cool history. It's still in use, mainly as like a parade rifle and stuff like that, because it's got a decent amount of wood. So yeah, pretty cool rifle. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this video, you can press the like button and subscribe to my channel. You can also check out my other videos, and I will see you next time.